Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more Kuna transfer rumours and gossip, as I do on this channel every day, giving you the latest news of course and what players and that are linked with Manchester United. So I am going to be negotiating on this video with you guys today, going to give you the latest news about David De Gea, also going to give you the latest news about Paul Pogba, and also there's lots of other things to currently talk about, but we'll start with Paul Pogba. So I have been reading recent reports up about Paul Pogba. It does reportedly say now that Manchester United are willing to offer him a long-term contract, worth up to £500,000 a week, to convince him to stay at the club. But obviously we do know that Paul Pogba's got 2 years remaining on his current deal, with an option of a further year, and he's on about £290,000 a week. So if he was willing to accept this new long-term contract worth 500 grand a week, he would get a 200 odd £1,000 pay rise. But we do know that Paul Pogba's been relentlessly linked to move away from Old Trafford. Obviously we do know it's Real Madrid and Juventus of course that are battling out for his services, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of course knows how much of an imperative player that Paul Pogba is, and initially it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to build a side around Paul Pogba. But as it did get confirmed on Sunday that Paul Pogba had told Tokyo reporters that he does want to leave Manchester United, and he actually publicly announced this for the first time that he wants to leave the club, and that he's seeking for a new challenge. He did initially say that he was willing to submit a transfer request, and obviously if that didn't work out, he even did say that Paul Pogba was willing to go on strike to force through a move from Manchester United to Real Madrid. But I do believe Real Madrid is Paul Pogba's first choice preference, because he has been on Real Madrid's agenda for quite some time. But obviously reports were emerging out the other week saying that Juventus are interested in re-signing him. He did say last week Juventus director travelled to London to hold talks with Manchester United over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba, and it also says that Juventus have been in negotiations with his agent Raiola. So I did say Juventus would probably have to maybe offload one or two of their players, one or two of their essential players to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I don't think Juventus would be able to afford him outright and all that basically. But yeah, Juventus are interested in me signing. Did say one of the players Juventus were willing to offer Manchester United was Paul Dybala, and actually Paul Dybala has been on Manchester United's agenda. It did say throughout negotiations between Manchester United and Juventus, I think it was the other week, it did say we are demanding Gio Cancelo in exchange for Paul Pogba, if we are allowing Paul Pogba to make the return back to Turin. But I think his first choice preference is Real Madrid, so I don't think he's got any intentions of making the return back to Turin. Obviously, he's on Zinedine Zidane's agenda. Obviously, Real Madrid have obviously got 5 signings on the board so far this summer. I also believe that Christian Eriksen is on Real Madrid's agenda, and I think Christian Eriksen, would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid than Paul Pogba and all that. But we've basically made it clear, that Paul Pogba is not for sale. So basically, we don't want to sell him, but I think we would accept a bid of around £150 million, and I think Real Madrid are reluctant, to pay up to £150 million for Paul Pogba. So obviously, the reports coming out the other week saying that Real Madrid were willing to offer Gareth Bale, in a transfer offer for Paul Pogba and all that. A recent report about Gareth Bale, I think his agent has come out and said, he will not be going out on loan. So there's actually, according to his agent, he will remain in Spain with Gareth Bale, even though Zinedine Zidane says he doesn't want Gareth Bale there. Even Florentino Perez, doesn't want Gareth Bale there, because obviously Zinedine Zidane confirmed, I think at the end of last season, that Gareth Bale has no future at Real Madrid, and he also confirmed he has no future at Real Madrid, and that he no longer fits in his plans with Real Madrid and all that, because obviously he's one of the problematic players at Real Madrid. Obviously Real Madrid wouldn't be able to get rid of him permanently anyway, based on his substantial wages. Not many teams would be able to afford Gareth Bale outright, like I said, reflecting on his substantial wages. But Gareth Bale has been relentlessly linked to a move to Old Trafford, since like 2013, and of course the rumours have continued to persist since then. But reports came out the other week saying that we did inquire about getting Gareth Bale on loan. It did initially say, was keen on getting him on a long season loan. It was potentially 2 seasons, because it did say there was an option to extend it by a further year, and it did say we was willing to pay Gareth Bale's wages and all that. And I did say, that could be beneficial for Real Madrid, because it can knock £50 million off their wage bill in the next couple of seasons and all that. But I think Real Madrid want to get rid of him permanently. Real Madrid said they wanted around £75 million. Obviously, Manchester United don't want to get him permanently anywhere, and of course Manchester United would not pay £75 £75 million for him anyway. So basically, Real Madrid are looking to recoup the majority of the money that did pay for him in 2013 from Tottenham, of course, because Real Madrid paid £85 million for him. But he has been at Real Madrid 6 years. Obviously, I don't want him to come to Manchester United because I've got too many strong reservations about him. If you'd asked me a couple of years ago, I probably would have took him. But I've got now too many strong reservations about him. He's too injury prone. That's another reason. Plus, he's aging up. How old is he now? Is he 30? He's nearly, I think he's 30 years of age next month. He's Gareth Bale. He has still got 3 years left on his contract with Real Madrid, but he has been inconsistent in the last couple of seasons and all that. But he did say they're willing to offload him as part of the deal for Paul Pogba and all that. Bale has still got a really, really good ratio, though, even though he's injury prone. He has scored 102 goals in 231 games for Real Madrid and provide 64 assists and something like that. So that's still quite impressive and all that. But yeah, Real Madrid, I've got 5 players on the board. They've already spent £150 million on Eden Hazard, so I don't think they'd be keen on spending another £150 million on Paul Pogba. So they're willing to offer Bale, so they can tempt us to try and lower our asking price and all that. But basically, it came out quite a few weeks back saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was willing to offer Paul Pogba the captaincy as well, to convince him to remain at the football club. We do know Paul Pogba's agent Raiola, at least in the last couple of months, has been in the process of trying to get his move to Real Madrid and all that. But like I said, we paid £89 million to him. Obviously, our most expensive signing. Hasn't really been the fundamental player. Hasn't, as we all thought he would have been. Hasn't really exceeded expectation levels as we all thought he couldn't, would have done and all that, because he did have 4 good years in Turin and all that, but he hasn't really replicated this form, since he did make the return to Manchester United. So I don't see him, making the return back to Turin. Last season, I think Paul Pogba scored 16 goals and provided 11 assists in 47 games in all competitions and all that. And we have seen glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form. We mainly saw it in that 3-month period, of course, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager, and we mainly saw the best of Pogba when Ander Herrera was playing. So that just emphasises how much of an impact Ander Herrera of course made. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how imperative Paul Pogba is. But Paul Pogba blatantly made it clear a while back about his dreams of playing for Real Madrid, and he did say at some point in his career he does want to play. What are you doing?
How are you feeling like?
Yeah.
When you've had a shower,
yeah,
just put some normal clothes on.
Alright.
And then get dressed for the funeral about 1 o'clock.
Alright. Alright, well, yeah.
I'll buy you a few pints of glass.
Alright. But yeah, I was saying about that, yeah. So he did say at some point in his career, he does want to play for Real Madrid. But like I said, probably the couple of main factor reasons why he wants to leave the club, because maybe, he wants to rejuvenate his career, wants to, be playing amongst better players, wants to be in Champions League football, wants to be, winning silverware and all that, wants to be competing. And of course, he's not experiencing this at Manchester United. And, Paul Pogba's still got a lot of years ahead of him, he's only 26 years of age and all that. But I do believe he probably, still will leave the club, but £500 a week is very, very tempting. And I think reports came out a while back saying that he would want £500 a week from Manchester United if he was to remain loyal to the club, and of course if he was to sign a new contract and all that. But basically it is Real Madrid and Juventus of course that are battling out for his services. But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad this summer. Obviously Daniel James is on the board. That's very, very good news. Obviously we paid £15 million for him with initial add-ons included, which did potentially rise to around £17 or £18 million. And that's our first signing this summer. Like I said, our first signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But £17 million is very, very cheap, compared to what we spent in recent years, especially Pogba £89 million, Lukaku £75 million of course. So he's a cheap acquisition. Is Daniel James. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, basically, I think he said this back in May. He wants to restart our original philosophy of developing youth instead of buying ready-made stars. So basically, he wants to recommend young players to Manchester United this summer, and also wants to recruit British talent to Manchester United this summer, because there's quite a lot of British players on our current agenda and all that. I do expect probably around 4 or 5 players maybe to leave Manchester United this summer, but like I said, £200 million should be enough for us to get around 5 players on the board, because I do believe we are going to be sensible with our recruitment this summer. But like I said, we want to get our number 1 targets this summer, because we want want to get the right players in, that can elevate Manchester United forward. We want to be back, to be in a competitive elite level football club and all that. But obviously, we're not in Champions League football for next season. And like I said, Champions League football is always very pivotal, when you do want to get your number one targets and all that. But Solskjaer was saying towards the back end of last season, still believes we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football. And I hope it works out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Are we going to be able to succeed in these conditions now? Obviously, we're not expected to appoint a sporting director in. And we were trying to get a director of football in at least for the last couple of months, and there were so many names, linked with that director's role and all that. But obviously now it's looking like we're not going to be appointing a sporting director in, because that's a structural change, that we did need. The club is getting a director of football in, but it's looking like we're going to stick with the same structure. And obviously, Ed Woodward is going to be overseeing our transfer business, of course, this summer and all that. But like I said, you can see the deficiencies in the squad and all that. You can see the deficiencies in the squad. You can identify, of course, with the areas where we are lacking. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wants to build a squad worthy of the club's history. But we didn't spend out in January. We didn't get as number one targets last summer. So it's very, very essential, that we do get our number one targets this summer. That's very, very essential indeed. But like I said, we've been a toxic club, for the last 5 or 6 years. We've been underachieving, and the main factor reason why we've been underachieving because we've been mismanaged in the last 5 or 6 years. Since Alex Ferguson retired. Obviously, we've had different managers with different philosophies. A hell of a lot of money, has been invested into the club in all the managerial areas. Players have come in, and of course, players have gone and all that. But like I said, I hope it works out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because looking at he's still in the process of rebuilding. I would give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at least a year, or maybe even a couple of years, to see how it works out and all that. I hope it works out under him, and I don't want us to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because obviously we love him and all that, and obviously we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. And he was a great player for Manchester United, for 11 years. I know he hasn't really got the experience of a manager, especially not to the highest level. And this is what does currently concern me and all that. But I hope it does currently work out for him, of course. But yeah, good that we've got Daniel James on the board and all that. Very, very fast indeed. But obviously now we want to build on that, of course. And Solskjaer wants to fulfil areas, of course, where Manchester United are lacking. But like I said, I think another problem with Manchester United as well. We have let far too many players' contracts run down. Obviously, the news came out yesterday as the updated one, saying Juan Mata has now agreed a 3-year contract with Manchester United. And I'm actually shell-shocked to this, because I didn't think we'd give a 31-year-old player a new long-term contract. I thought we maybe might have extended his contract by a further year, or maybe give him a 2-year extension, but I didn't think, we'd give him a 3-year deal, to be quite honest with you. But actually reports came out about this the other week, saying that we'd offered him a new contract term and all that. Manchester United have been in negotiations, for quite some time. But I'm actually, quite happy about this, because I think Juan Mata has been a very consistent, player for the club. I know he initially doesn't even get in the team now. He's basically used as a squad player and all that. He's Juan Mata. But yeah, I do really like Juan Mata. Like I said, he's been at Manchester United 5 years. He's been a fantastic servant here. He scored 45 goals in 218 games in all competitions. Obviously, he's been here since the David Moyes era, and basically, he's won the Europa League with us, obviously won the League Cup with us. Obviously, that came in Jose Mourinho's first season, and obviously, won the FA Cup with us, and that obviously, came under Louis van Gaal era back in 2015. But it was Barcelona that inquired about his services. I think also Newcastle had expressed their interest in Juan Mata, and at one point, it was looking very imminent, that he was going to be leaving the club, because his Juan Mata's current deal was set to expire by I think the end of this month. His current deal expires and all that. But yeah, I'm very, very shocked, that we've given him a new 3-year contract. But yeah, he has been in the Premier League in total for about 7.5, 8 years now. Obviously, this was including his 2.5, 3 years he had with Chelsea when he was younger. Obviously, he's Spanish. He obviously began his career in Spain. The likes of Real Madrid and Valencia and all that. But yeah, we have now got Juan Mata a new 3-year deal. So some Manchester United fans will be happy about this, maybe, because I still really like Juan Mata, but I'm just shocked, that we've actually, given him a new long-term contract, reflecting that he's age 31, he has lost that yard of pace and all that. Big breaking news I want to give you an update on is in regards to David De Gea. Now, I have been reading some reports about David De Gea this morning. Now, according to the Metro and all that, David De Gea could be looking likely to stay at Manchester United for next season. Now, reportedly, PSG have been in for David De Gea, because obviously, Buffon has left PSG, and obviously, PSG are going to want to replace him with him. But now, according to recent reports, PSG now have opted out of the race for David De Gea, and they're turning their attentions more on AC Milan's Donnarumma and all that. Now, based on this, David De Gea could now stay at Manchester United next season. Well, I'm very, very, obviously, I would be very, very happy about that, because we do know how imperative, of course, David De Gea is. Obviously, he was heavily linked with a £60 million move to PSG, because I think at one point, PSG were preparing to pay around £60 million for his services. And like I said, we need to, if he does leave, we need to cash in for him this summer rather than letting go on a free transfer next year, because obviously, that would be a calamity indeed. But yeah, we've been in negotiations for at least 18, 19 months, of trying to get David De Gea a new contract. Reportedly, he's demanding around £350,000 a week for Manchester United. So basically, he wants to be one of the highest paid players, alongside Alexis Sanchez and all that. But reportedly, Manchester United are not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands. He's only got a year left on his deal. He's on £200,000 a week at the moment. But obviously, it does. So basically, he's demanding £150,000 pay rise if he's to sign a new contract with Manchester United, and if he is, of course, to remain loyal to the club. But he's been a long servant here. He's been here 8 years. He has made over 300 other appearances in all competitions. He's won everything domestically. He's won the club's player of the year 4 times at the last 6 years as De Gea, and hasn't really done much wrong in his 8-year period with Manchester United. Did make quite a few costly mistakes towards the back end of last season, but that was mainly to do with the contractual situation. We do know that Real Madrid, of course, have been in for him. Obviously, Real Madrid have been linked to him a number of years. Reflecting back in 2015, Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him, but due to a fax machine, the deal never materialised. But he's been a long servant here. He has been here since the Alex Ferguson era and all that. But it was looking very, very, very likely he was actually not destined to make the move to PSG. But now PSG are focusing more on Donnarumma for AC Milan. But there could be some good news that he's going to be probably staying for next season now. But obviously, we could lose him on a free transfer next year, and I don't want us to lose David De Gea on a free transfer, because like I said, I think at full value for the goalkeeper, he's definitely worth £100 million is De Gea. But like I said, we wouldn't get £100 million because of course he's in the final year of his deal. But like I said, if he was to leave Manchester United, I said we'd definitely need to buy a goalkeeper to replace him. I don't think it's initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to buy a goalkeeper to replace him, because reports came out, was it about 3 weeks ago, saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was willing to promote Sergio Aguero as our number one goalkeeper. Like I said, I have got reservations about that, because I don't think he's reliable enough yet, to become our number one goalkeeper and all that. We've got Dean Henderson, but like I said with Dean Henderson, I think he needs to gain a bit more experience. I know he has been on loan with Sheffield United and he's still young, but I think the club need to orchestrate on loaning, Dean Henderson out for another season, to gain him a bit more experience and all that. So, like I said, it came out a couple of weeks ago saying that, it came out recently, should I say, saying that we was willing to offer David De Gea a new contract. It came out a couple of weeks ago saying that David De Gea had turned down a final contract offer from Manchester United. At that point, it looked very imminent he was going to be leaving, but now PSG had turned their attentions more on Donnarumma. Now David De Gea, could stay at Manchester United, but we could risk losing him on a free next year, and I would be, very, very disappointed about that. So that's the latest news on that. But there has been quite a few names who've been mentioned, who could replace David De Gea at Manchester United. Obviously, Andrea Onana, that the Ajax goalkeeper's been spoken about. Jordan Pickford's been mentioned from Everton. Obviously there's a lot of talks going on the other week about Jan Oblonka from Atletico Madrid. So who would you get to replace David De Gea if he does leave? But now, according to his reports, it's looking likely, he could be staying at Manchester United at least for another year. Less we can come to an agreement, to get him a new contract. But obviously, Manchester United have got to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands. Obviously, as he updated you a lot yesterday, a lot of news obviously was going on about Issy Diop from West Ham. Well, there has been a lot of news going on about him quite recently, to be quite honest, because I think he's actually one of our priority targets now. Obviously, Issy Diop is a central defender, and obviously that's one of the pivotal areas of course where Manchester United do need to strengthen up. And obviously we need defensive reinforcements. We need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline. I did initially say I think that we need 2 central defenders, because we've got issues defensively. That was proven last season because we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season. And going on into this season, we do need to see vast improvements, because obviously, we finished 6th last season. Obviously, they didn't win any silverware and all, so it was very disappointing last season. And we haven't won any silverware in the last couple of seasons. Obviously haven't won the Premier League since 2013 and all that. So that's over 6 years ago now. But like I said, I think our expectations going on into next season will probably to finish in the top 4, maybe in the Europa League. League, maybe win the Carabao Cup. But I do believe in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations is going to be that top four. But at the moment, City is trying to ahead of us, Liverpool is trying to ahead of us, and it's very imperative that we catch up with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. But talking about Issy Diop, he's supposed to be a pretty decent player. I don't know much about him, to be quite honest, but reports came out last week, saying that Manchester United were interested in him, and it said report that Issy Diop is keen on joining Manchester United. West Ham, of course, are reluctant, to sell him because West Ham know how much of a central player he is, but he did say West Ham want at least around £60 million for him, but I don't think, Issy Diop is worth £60 million, but like I said yesterday, I don't think any West Ham central defender is worth £60 million and all that, but I reportedly he's keen on making the move to Manchester United. So as I updated you on yesterday, it did initially say, this actually did say that reportedly Manchester United had offered £40 million plus Phil Jones as part of any deal for Issy Diop, but reportedly West Ham had turned this down because initially the player remained anonymous, but now it has been revealed it was Phil Jones that we did offer, plus that £40 million for Issy Diop and all that, because West Ham turned this down because they don't want Phil Jones, and plus they don't want to get rid of Issy Diop and all that. Reportedly it did say in the media yesterday, as I updated you on, saying that West Ham reportedly want Anthony Martial in exchange for Issy Diop. Now obviously Manchester United are not going to go along with this because we do know how much of an imperative player that Anthony Martial is and all that, even though he has been inconsistent in the last couple of months. I do believe he's a long-term solution for Manchester United. Obviously the club gave him a new 5-year contract back in January and all that, but obviously was it going back last summer, Anthony Martial was linked to a move away from Old Trafford, and he has been subjected to quite a bit of transfer speculation in the past. Obviously Mourinho wanted to get rid of Anthony Martial this summer, but obviously Ed Woodward had blocked, Anthony Martial, making a move from Manchester United, and this is why, Anthony Martial still remains in the football club now. But obviously, Mourinho had, bad disputes with the players and all that. He had bad disputes with the board, and this is the, the two main factors, why it didn't work out with Jose Mourinho. And obviously, reflecting back last summer, the board went back in the signings that he wanted to recommend to come in and all that. So this is why, it basically, they didn't work out under him. But yeah, I still think, Martial, wants to remain at the football club. He's only 23 years of age. He has still got a hell of a lot of development in him, but he has not yet, graduated to that level. It's going to take him a couple of years, to get him to that level where he wants to be. He has been at Manchester United 4 years, Anthony Martial. I think in the Premier League, he has made about 113 appearances for Manchester United, scored about 34 goals and provided 17 assists. Obviously, we did get him from Monaco back in 2015. Obviously, we got him for around £36 million, wasn't it? But it potentially, £36 million, potentially rising up to 57 or 58 million, based on goals and achievements and all that. So reportedly it says West Ham do want Anthony Martial in exchange for Issy Diop if they are willing to do any business for Issy Diop. Obviously, Manchester United are not willing to go along with this. But Issy Diop, like I said, he's had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, it was his debut season in the Premier League for West Ham last season. I think he played about 33 games last season for West Ham. I think he played about 38 in all competitions. Obviously, West Ham got him last summer from Toulouse for around £22 million. He signed a 5-year contract last summer with them, so he has got 4 years remaining now on his contract. So he's on the contract with West Ham until 2023. He is only young. He's only 22 years of age. He's 6'4", so he's very, very tall. So I do presume that he's very, very good in the air. He's also, a very, very good athlete. Issy Diop. But reports came out last week, saying that Manchester United, of course, have been in for him. But looking at it from a financial point of view, Issy Diop, will be a cheaper solution than Harry Maguire. He'll also probably, I presume, will be a cheaper solution than Matty Stillett. He'll also be a much cheaper solution than Koulibaly and all that. And like I said, people said we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. But I think Issy Diop, is actually keen on making the move to Manchester United, as he said. The big news about Harry Maguire, as I have been updating you on a regular basis, because we do know Harry Maguire is one of our priority targets and all that. Obviously, there was a lot of reports going out yesterday, saying that we could offer Andres Pereira to Leicester in exchange for Harry Maguire. So obviously, this can convince Leicester to lower their price tag, because I don't think Manchester United are willing to pay £90 million for his current services and all that. And looking at it ultimately, Leicester don't want to sell Harry Maguire, and this is why they have priced him out of the transfer market, and this is why they are demanding an extortionate amount for him. But we do know it has been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. I was also reading reports the other day, and it did say, we could also offer, Eric Bailly and Rojo to Leicester as part of the deal for Harry Maguire. Again, to try and convince, Leicester, to, lower their price tag and all that. But yeah, they want at least around £80 million pounds. He reportedly said that Ed Woodward is keen on recommending, Harry Maguire in, and he did say, he was willing to pay up to £80 million pounds for him. He did say we was willing to offer him a 5-year contract, worth up to around 350 grand a week. But more than likely, we probably would have to break the world transfer record for the defender to get a deal more than line for Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, is definitely not worth 80 or 90 million pounds. He's definitely not worth that and all that. But basically Manchester City have been in for him, and I think Harry Maguire's preference is Manchester City and all that, because obviously City are the dominant force at the moment. They're dominating English football and all that, and obviously City have got Champions League football, but potentially City basically are not willing to pay up to £80 million for his services. City only rate him at around £50 million, because obviously City have identified Harry Maguire as their number one target to replace Vincent Kompany, because City obviously want a replacement for Vincent Kompany. But if Manchester United actually were willing to pay £80 million, obviously it'd make Harry Maguire the most expensive defender in world football, also making the most expensive English player of all time, ahead of Kyle Walker, because obviously Kyle Walker is the most expensive English player at the moment, who City did pay £50 million for a couple of years ago, and I think there was initial add-ons included, which did potentially rise to around 52 or 53 million pounds. But don't get me wrong, I like Harry Maguire a lot. He's proven in the Premier League and all that. Only 26 years of age. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him. Signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he's under contract with them until 2023. But looking at ultimately, Leicester do not want to currently sell him. But yeah, it has been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. But he did say we're confident we can outbid City to his outbid Manchester City for him, and we're confident that we can beat Manchester City to the signing of Harry Maguire. Because obviously, at some point in his career anyway, Harry Maguire's going to want to rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level and all that. So I do believe, with his defensive abilities, with his ability, to play out from the back. I do believe, that he would complement Victor Lindelof in our back line, really, really well. But I think, we are willing to offer at least one of our players, as part of the deal for us, to sign Harry Maguire, so it can obviously, tempt Leicester, to currently lower their price tag and all that. With Rojo being part of the deal, I think that would be very beneficial for us, because I think, Rojo he's one of the players that's looking very likely to leave Manchester United this summer, because obviously, he's enjoyed a difficult time with the club. The main factor reason why he's enjoyed a difficult time with the club, obviously, based on the amount of injuries he has currently sustained, hasn't really been given the opportunity. With Eric Bailly as being part of the deal, I wouldn't be too sure about that, because I think Eric Bailly, has got really, really good potential and all that. But like I said, that'd be beneficial from a Leicester point of view. They would be getting a good central defender in exchange, for Harry Maguire and all that. But for me, I don't know about Eric Bailly, because from Manchester United perspective, because even though he's initially lost his place in the team, obviously he's obviously his Manchester United career has been badly affected. The amount of injuries he's sustained, obviously with his fallout under managers and all that. It's had a really, really bad effect on his Manchester United career. Obviously we got him for £30 million from Villarreal back in 2016 and all that. And if he was open to selling him without him, disregarding him as being part of any swap deal, we probably would be looking to recoup the initial £30 million, that we did initially pay for Eric Bailly. So there has been so many central defenders on our agenda. We're not going to get Matty Slick. That's probably not going to happen now. We're not going to get Koulibaly from Napoli, because Napoli are demanding an extortionate amount and all that. Obviously, basically Napoli, don't even want to basically sell him. This is why they are demanding an extortionate amount. So we're not going to get Koulibaly. We're not going to get Delay. So we've turned our attention on getting Issa Diop or Harry Maguire from Leicester. But I think actually our priority now is Issa Diop and all that, because we may struggle to get a deal over the line for Harry Maguire, but we'll see how things currently plan out. Obviously, as I've been updating you on a regular basis as well about Wan-Bissaka from Crystal Palace. Obviously, he's been one of our prime targets, and of course, Wan-Bissaka is predominantly a right back. Obviously, reports came out a couple of days ago, basically saying, that we had a £50 million bid turned down for Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, we've had now 2 bids turned down for Wan-Bissaka, because I think, you know, we held further more negotiations last weekend, you know, with Crystal Palace over coming to an agreement on a fee. But yeah, we've had now 2 bids turned down for him. We didn't offer, you know, £50 million up front. You know, we basically offered £35 million up front, you know, with 15 million in bonuses. But, you know, Palace had turned this down because obviously Crystal Palace didn't like the structure of the offer. And I think Crystal Palace, if they're willing to let Wan-Bissaka go, I think they want £50 million up front, or they want £45 million up front with £5 million, of course, in bonuses. So I do believe Manchester United, you know, will, you know, prepare, you know, to put another offer in for Wan-Bissaka. But actually, no, we had a £40 million bid turned down for him the other week. You know, looking at it, ultimately, Crystal Palace don't want to sell him because they know how much of an essential player he is to them and all that. But he did initially say Crystal Palace want at least around £60 million for him. But I don't think Manchester United, you know, would be willing to pay that for Wan-Bissaka. So he did inform Crystal Palace, you know, that he does want to join Manchester United this summer. I'm still not as sceptical as I was, but I'm still a bit sceptical, you know, of Wan-Bissaka, you know, coming to Manchester United. But he's only 21 years of age. You know, so far he has spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace. Obviously, you know, he's been a Crystal Palace player, since the age of 11. Obviously, you know, graduated from their youth system and all that. And initially, when he was younger, he was an out-and-out winner. But as he was developing, you know, he got rotated as a right-back. He's made 42 senior appearances. He made his senior debut in February of last year. So last season, you know, established himself as a first-team regularly down Wan-Bissaka. And I think he won Palace's Player of the Year last season. And he has still got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace. So I do believe that is our top priority. And I do believe Manchester United, you know, will be preparing, you know, to put another bid in for him. Initially, it said as well, Crystal Palace want Wilfred Zaha's buyout clause, Wilfred Zaha's sell-on clause to be currently removed. If they are willing Wan-Bissaka to join Manchester United and all that. But like I said, we definitely need a right back because we need a replacement for Antonio Valencia, because obviously Valencia has left the club after he served 10 years at Manchester United. Obviously, we definitely need an upgrade to Ash Young. Obviously, we do know that Ash Young has been here 8 years. Obviously, he's made over 300 appearances in all competitions, and he has been a good servant to the club. But like I said, he's one of the problematic players now. He was our first choice right back last season. It was a bad mistake for Manchester United, you know, giving Ash Young that new 1 year extension. But like I said, Ash Young has no longer got the abilities, or you know, he's no longer got the abilities to fulfil that right back position. But he has now passed his sell by date because he's nearly 34 years of age now. Like I said, we need an upgrade to him. We need a cover up for Diego Dalot, and I do believe, you know, that Wan-Bissaka, you know, would be the right solution. Proven in the Premier League, his defensive capabilities are very, very good, and I do believe, you know, he would elevate Manchester United forward. So hopefully we can get a deal over the line for him. There's been quite a few right backs on our agenda as well. Obviously there has been talks of Thomas Meunier from PSG. I'd say we're seeing Meunier as an alternative to Wan-Bissaka. So if we can't get Wan-Bissaka, then I think we'll look to getting Meunier, because actually, you know, Meunier is a much cheaper solution than Wan-Bissaka. You know, looking at it, because reports came out the other week saying that PSG, you know, want around £25 million for Meunier. He's only got a year left on his deal with PSG. He's an experienced fullback. You know, he's 27 years of age. But Manchester United and Arsenal have been in there for him. But I think from his own preference, he's keen on making the move to Manchester United, because I think he's been a Manchester United fan, of course, since he was a child. But like I said, you know, there's been quite a few midfielders on our current agenda, as I've been updating you on a regular basis. And of course, if Paul Pogba does leave the club, obviously, you know, we're going to need a replacement for him. And obviously, one of our main priority targets was obviously, you know, being Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Now, obviously, I still believe he's looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon, and I still say, you know, Manchester United, you know, can get a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes. You know, it did initially say that we had scheduled a meeting, you know, to get a deal finalised for. We scheduled a meeting with Sporting Lisbon to get a deal finalised for Bruno Fernandes. It did initially say, you know, we are preparing to pay around £70 million for his services. I think initially, you know, Sporting Lisbon want at least around £50 million. But, you know, quite a lot of teams have inquired about his services. You know, recent reports have been coming out saying that Liverpool have reportedly submitted around the €45 million bid for Bruno Fernandes, which obviously equates to around 40 million in pound sterling. But I don't think this figure is going to be enough, you know, to convince, Sporting Lisbon, you know, to currently offload him. Obviously, obviously we do know Tottenham have been in there for him, but I think now obviously Tottenham have pulled them out of the race. Obviously recent reports said that Atletico Madrid have entered the race and all that, but I think he's been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services, as the Portuguese press confirmed the other week. City have now withdrawn their interest and they have now pulled them out of the race for Bruno Fernandes. So I will say wearing the ascendancy, and I do believe he would be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. Bruno Fernandes has done well in his couple of seasons with Sporting Lisbon. Hasn't really played to the highest level and all that as yet, but I do believe that he's had a good couple of years with Sporting Lisbon, and I do believe he can replicate this in the Premier League with Manchester United. And obviously he's going to want to rejuvenate his career and he's going to want to take his footballing career to the next level. Is Bruno Fernandes, but Bruno Fernandes did say he would talk to Sporting Lisbon about leaving if he could come up with an offer that he could not currently refuse and all that. And he still said he watches the Italian football, he follows it, because actually Bruno Fernandes did spend the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger with the likes of Sampdoria and Udinese and all that, but he's still very young, so he's going to fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly. 24, primarily an attacking midfielder under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. His initial release clause is around £86 million. But reports came out of Portuguese press the other week saying that Liverpool had entered the race. It also said that Tottenham were in for him, but now of course Tottenham have pulled out of the race for Bruno Fernandes. So I still say we can get him a deal over the line for him. That's very imperative, because we need creativeness in that midfield, and if Pogba goes, we're going to lack that creativeness in that midfield and all that, and we need someone that can score goals from that midfield. We need depth in that midfield, and I do believe Bruno Fernandes definitely would be the right solution. So he's been obviously one of our priority targets. I think another good replacement for Paul Pogba would be Youri Tielemans from Leicester. Now there were a lot of reports going on about Youri Tielemans last week saying that Manchester that we'd revived our interest in him. It did say we'd been in negotiations with his agent over a possible deal and all that. Youri Tielemans, very good player, 22 years of age. Obviously has had about 5-6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League, because initially he had been on loan with Leicester since January, but obviously now his loan spell has come to an end with Leicester, so he has now returned to Monaco. But Youri Tielemans has confirmed he will not be more than likely he will not be at Monaco next season, so more than likely he will be playing his trade elsewhere next season with Youri Tielemans. But recent reports have now actually come out saying that what I read anyway, it said Manchester United have actually opted out of the race. It did say we'd actually been offered the chance to sign Youri Tielemans, but reportedly said we'd declined the opportunity to complete a deal for him, because I think we're focusing on getting other deals over the line, of course. But I still believe that we are in there for him. I think Leicester have been in talks of getting him on a permanent deal and all that, because Youri Tielemans was pivotal in Leicester's transformation under Brendan Rodgers, and obviously Leicester was impressed with him during his loan spell there, so Leicester are keen on getting him on a permanent deal. I think also Tottenham have been in for him, Manchester City have been in for him and all that. But yeah, very good player, very young and all that. But yeah, recent reports say that Leicester are currently leading the race for him, but he is available for a reasonable figure. Monaco rate him at around £40 million. He's on the contract with Monaco until 2022. Initially, Monaco got him a couple of years ago from Anderlecht for around 21 million, because initially he began his career with Anderlecht, did Youri Tielemans, and I think Manchester United were tracking him, when he was at Anderlecht, to be quite fair. But yeah, I think he's mainly a box-to-box midfielder, can also play as an attacking midfielder, so I do believe he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. So he's obviously been on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously, as well, Giovanni Lo Celso, from Real Betis, now 23 years of age. I've updated you about Giovanni Lo Celso on a regular basis. Obviously, Manchester United have been in for him. Also, Tottenham have been in for him. It came out, last month, saying that, from Giovanni Lo Celso's preference, he wants to basically, make the move to Tottenham and all that. Obviously, I think he's one of Tottenham's main priority targets. Tottenham had lodged a bid in for him last month, I think. Tottenham lodged a bid in for him last month of around, if I'm right, around, £50 million, over add-ons included. But obviously, Real Betis had currently turned this down. Giovanni Lo Celso's release clause is around £88 million, so I think Real Betis do want a figure, close to his release clause. So I think they want around 70 or £80 million, do Real Betis, if they're willing to offload him. Obviously, reports came out the other week saying that Tottenham had, been in negotiation with Real Betis over concluding a deal for Giovanni Lo Celso. But I don't really know know much about him. I think he's primarily a central midfielder. If I'm right, I might be wrong about that. He is Argentinian, of course. Obviously, last season was his first season with Real Betis. Initially, Real Betis got him on loan from PSG last summer, and obviously, Real Betis made a deal permanent back in April. By paying around £20 million, was it something like that? But if Real Betis, do sell him, obviously, PSG, do benefit from it because they got him from PSG, and obviously, PSG do get a percentage of any sale, of course, and all that. So it still says, Manchester United are in for him. So do you think Giovanni Lo Celso, would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba? Sean Longstaff from Newcastle, it's looking very imminent. He's going to be coming to Manchester United. Obviously, a lot of reports came out about that. These stories the other week, saying that Manchester United are close to completing a deal for Sean Longstaff for around £25 million. He's very, very young. He's only 21 years of age. Obviously, he's had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League, playing in the senior squad, that is, because obviously, he graduated from Newcastle's youth system. Obviously, I think he played about 9 games last season under Rafael Benitez, did Sean Longstaff. I think he didn't play the last couple of months of last season, because obviously, he sustained a knee ligament injury. I think he had sustained this injury against West Ham, and I think he's still recovering from that knee ligament injury, is Sean Longstaff. But, we do want to get a deal concluded for him. Like I said, plus he's British, and like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. I think mainly Sean Longstaff, he's a box-to-box midfielder and all that. So I think it's looking likely, what I recently saw, that he's currently going to be coming in. But yeah, there's been so many midfielders on our current agenda. But like I said, £200 million spending spree, should be enough to get us around 4 or 5 players on the board. Like I said, it's obviously going to amount up to a lot more than £200 million. If we're cashing for Pogba, if we're cashing for Lukaku and all that, that's going to help us with our rebuilding process. It's also, of course, going to help us with our transition. Looking at it, and I think we can raise around at least £200 million for the departures of Lukaku and Paul Pogba and all that. Pogba will probably leave. I think Lukaku is probably going to be going to Inter Milan and all that. I've obviously given you an update on that. Obviously, he's heavily linked to a move to Inter Milan because obviously Serbi's 2 requirements at Manchester United. Obviously, Lukaku wants to play under Antonio Conte because Lukaku recently described Antonio Conte as one of the best managers in the world. Obviously, reflecting back a couple of years ago, Antonio Conte wanted, Lukaku when he was a Chelsea manager, but obviously, he ended up making the move to Manchester United. Maybe the fee could be problematic, for Inter Milan and all that. I still presume that Inter Milan and Manchester United are negotiating on a fee. I think initially, we want at least around £62 million for Lukaku. And I think, obviously, this is a figure that Inter Milan are reluctant, to currently meet. It came out a couple of weeks ago saying that wanted around £80 million for Romelu Lukaku. But either way, we're looking to recoup the majority of the money that we did pay for him a couple of years ago from Everton. It was £75 million with add-ons included of £15 million, which he potentially rises to around £90 million. Lukaku's still got 3 years left on his contract. But Inter Milan have been in for him, for quite some time now. And obviously, Lukaku was in Italy, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. He held negotiations with Inter Milan's representatives over coming to an agreement on deal and all that. But I think initially everything's been agreed, but the fee, I think he has agreed the personal terms with Inter Milan, which could see him earn £6.6 million in bonuses. I think he's reportedly agreed a 5-year deal with Inter Milan and all that. And basically, everything's been agreed, but the actual fee and all that. Inter Milan have offered us Icardi in exchange for Lukaku, but we don't want to bring Icardi in. Also, Inter Milan have offered us Ivan Perisic as part of the deal with Lukaku plus cash, but we're not interested in that because Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. But I do believe probably Lukaku will be currently leaving. I think Inter Milan need to raise around £40 million before the end of this month as well. I think it did say before to meet financial fair play rules. Yeah. But Lukaku has initially lost his players in the team, and obviously Lukaku is reluctant, to play a backup role to Rashford. Lukaku's been here a couple of years. I think he scored 42 goals in 96 games for us in all competition. He did well in his first season, but didn't really replicate that in his second season and all that. And he's no longer assured first team football at Manchester United. Like I said, I've got strong reservations about him. He hasn't got that endless potential. His finishing concerns me, big game bottler, first touch concerns me, not really good in the air and all that. But yeah, his pedigree is still very good in the Premier League, and his ratio is still very, very good in the Premier League. Don't get me wrong, but I do believe he probably will be going. I think we need to get rid of Sanchez. Definitely one of the problematic players. I still think it remains uncertain whether he's going to be here next season. I'm not too sure about Sanchez. Obviously, Darmian, it's looking very him. He's going to be leaving the football club as well. But I hope to see vast improvements. Going on into next season, because I was very, very disappointed last season. I really, really liked it. In that 3-month period. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was their interim manager, because it all went really well. The results were good, the performances were good, and all that. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer exceeded expectations, and he even won his first 8 games and all that. But since he's got the job permanently, it just seems to have all gone wrong and all that. But like I said, you can see the deficiencies in his squad. But like I said, none of his squad's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, apart from Daniel James, because he's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. There's players here from Van Gaal he's inheriting. There's Matty from the David Moyes era. Obviously, there's 4 or 5 players here from the Alex Ferguson era, of course. He's still inheriting, so he is still in the process of rebuilding and all that. But like I said, we've got to be ruthless in this summer transfer window. That is very, very essential. But I do believe we're a number of years off, from challenging for the league or even winning the league, like I said. But people said if we get the right players to Manchester United this summer, we can mount a title challenge up next season, maybe even win the league next season. But I don't see that currently happening, to be quite honest with you. But the main factor of this video, was to give you the latest news of everything else. But the main part of it was to give you the latest news about Pogba. We're willing to offer him around 500 grand a week, reportedly, to convince him to remain at the football club. And with De Gea now, he could be looking likely to stay at Manchester United next season, but we still have that risk of losing him on a free next year, and all that. That does currently concern me, because we need to cash in for De Gea without a shadow of a doubt. But now PSG are no longer in for him, so it has been a bit of change of seeing him and all that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on this channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you all for watching.